I bought 6 Bitcoin miners. With all the news lately of large Bitcoin mining companies shutting down and filing for bankruptcy because mining is no longer profitable at current price levels, why on earth would someone want to get into Bitcoin mining right now?
Why?
Well, I'll tell you why I'm so excited in this video. So I purchased 6 brand new Bitmain Antminer S19 Pro 110 terahash Bitcoin miners. As the name suggests, each miner has a maximum hash rate of 110 terahash per second, and the power consumption on each unit is 3,250 watts. Now this is an older model. It was originally released back in May of 2020, so as of the date of this video, this model has been around for about 2.5 years. There are newer, more efficient, more powerful Bitcoin miners out there since released, but those miners tend to be much more expensive. So that leads to the next question: how much should I pay for these miners? Well, I purchased my miners back in June of 2022, and I paid $5,620 for each miner for a total price of $33,720. Now this is the all-in cost, includes any tariffs and sales tax that would be charged for purchasing the miner. Now currently the price of this miner is much lower than I paid back in June. Currently, all in, you can purchase this miner for $3,650 from the hosting company that I use to host my Bitcoin miners. So obviously it would have been better for me to wait to purchase my miner until today, but like always, hindsight is 2020. So next, that leads us to the hosting company that I'll be using for my Bitcoin miners. Personally, I have no desire of running any large Bitcoin mining operation from my home. They are way too loud, they produce way too much heat, and my home electric rate is far too high to efficiently mine Bitcoin at a profitable level from home. So the hosting company that I'm using is called Musk Miners. Musk Miners is a US-based mining hosting company based out of Grand Forks, North Dakota. Originally heard about Musk Miners from the YouTube channel Space Design Warehouse. Musk Miners is a sponsor of that channel. That channel is a cryptocurrency focused channel. It's a really entertaining channel. I recommend you check it out. Musk Miners currently has 4 different hosting locations. They have a location in Texas, North Dakota. They work with another company to provide hosting capacity in the state of Washington. And then finally, they have a hosting site in Louisiana. Now, Louisiana is where my miners are situated. They are at a mining location about 45 minutes outside of Lafayette, Louisiana. Now, this video is not sponsored. I am not affiliated with Musk Miners in any way, and I'm not being compensated by them for this video. I'll link Musk Miners' website in the description below, as well as the Discord channel for Space Design Warehouse, where you can get in touch with Musk Miners directly if you're interested in purchasing some miners. So next, how much am I paying for electric for these miners? Well, my contract rate with Musk Miners is 8.5 cents per kilowatt hour. So it cost me $199 per month per miner to run my miners at the hosting location. So my 6 miners in total would cost $1,195 per month in electric expense. Now I think this 8.5 cent per kilowatt hour electric rate is very attractive, especially when you compare against any standard residential, commercial, or industrial electric rate in the US or in Europe right now, where you could be paying anywhere north of 15 to 20 to even 30 cents per kilowatt hour, which would basically make Bitcoin mining severely unprofitable. So you may be wondering how they can source this electricity at such a cheap rate. Well, how they're doing it is this Bitcoin mining operation is built at an oil rig site. And each oil rig site flares excess natural gas that they're pulling from the ground. And essentially what they're doing is they're hooking a generator up to this flared natural gas and repurposing that natural gas into energy that can be used to run these Bitcoin miners. So really they could pay a nominal fee to get access to this natural gas from the site, hook up a giant generator to it that they'd have to purchase themselves, and then they put our mining rigs on site, and that generator provides electricity so that we can mine Bitcoin. And really this is a very green thing to do, because really we're eliminating the methane that the natural gas would be flared into the atmosphere, and we're repurposing it into Bitcoin mining. Daniel Batten on Twitter did a great summary explaining how cutting methane emissions is a great lever that we can use to fight climate change, and Bitcoin mining is a strong way that we can help fight that fight. I'll link this in the description below if you're interested in reading his thread. Now, as for the contract with Musk Miners, I did sign a 1-year contract hosting with them. After 1 year, I have the option to opt out and move elsewhere, or I can re-sign with them. It's a pretty standard contract. I didn't see anything really egregious within the contract. Really, I think they're trying to work with people and act in everyone's best interest. So next I want to walk you through a Bitcoin mining price analysis I put together for this miner. One thing to note, I'm not accounting for any future mining difficulty adjustments or the impact of any future Bitcoin halvings in this analysis. The next Bitcoin halving is expected sometime in spring of 2024. So currently today on December 9th, Bitcoin is at a price of $17,200. So at that price point, each miner is generating mining income per month of $212. We have electric expense of $199 per month. Now that is at the 8.5 cent per kilowatt hour rate that I have contracted with Musk Miners over the next year. I did an analysis of electric rates for this miner and basically found for every penny increase in your kilowatt hour electric rate, you're going to expect to pay an additional $23.40 per month. So based on that income electric, each miner currently is at a profit of $13 per month. So obviously $13 a month is not very lucrative. But if you start to look at this and let's apply some different Bitcoin prices, which I think are very possible in the future. Let's say Bitcoin goes back to all-time highs right around $70,000, which I think is feasible over the next 2 years. In that case, you're generating $665 per month per miner in profit, and for all 6 miners, a profit of $3,989 per month. Now let's go super bullish. Let's say, Bitcoin hits $1 million. Now I know that may seem like a stretch, but I also think that is totally feasible in the next, 5 to 10 years, especially since I think at some point Bitcoin will probably go parabolic as demand increases and supply is limited. So I think $1 million Bitcoin is very possible before the year 2030. If we were to see $1 million Bitcoin, the Bitcoin that we mine today would be worth at a profit per month of $12,000 per miner, or for all 6 of my miners, $72,840. So obviously that is a very stretch price point. What I'm trying to show here is there's huge upside potential to get exposed to Bitcoin mining. So I did an analysis, and the annual gross Bitcoin that you'd be mining for all 6 of these miners would be a total of 0.89 Bitcoin per year. So you're generating essentially just under 1 Bitcoin per year if you're having all 6 miners online all year. Your annual electric expense is $14,321. I took that $11.93 that I'm paying per month for all 6 miners and multiplied that by 12. So next I put together a quick payback period, or ROI, or return on investment analysis per miner to show what the payback period would be at different price points. So you can see here at a current cost per miner of $3,650, you'd have a payback period of 22.8 years to pay back the cost of your miner, and that's because this miner is only generating $13 in net profit per month. Now this obviously changes considerably if Bitcoin prices increase substantially. If Bitcoin were to go back to all-time highs, you're looking at a payback period of less than half a year. Now down here at the bottom, I did do the same analysis with my purchase cost for a miner, but like I've stated in prior videos, what I purchase for a miner really should have no impact on any analysis that you're doing. Really, you want to look at current prices today and not what I paid in the past, whether it be me paying too much or too little. But in this case, obviously I paid too much. Next, I want to go through a Bitcoin mining scenario analysis put together. So over the time period, we'll assume the date is end of year 2024, so just over 2 years from today. We'll assume the Bitcoin price is at $100,000. And we'll estimate our total Bitcoin that we've mined over these last 2 years is 1.33 Bitcoin. Now, the way I came up with this is the first year, I'm assuming we mine the full 0.89 Bitcoin with the 6 Bitcoin miners. And then the second year, I'm cutting that in half. I know the Bitcoin halving is expected to occur sometime in spring of 2024, and we're likely to see an increase in difficulty over these next 2 years. So we'll assume for the second full year that will generate half as many Bitcoin mined. So we're taking a 0.5 for the second year to come up with 1.33 Bitcoin. At $100,000 Bitcoin price, we're looking at total income from our miners of $133,000. Our electric expense for the 2 years, we're assuming would stay at the 8.5 cent per kilowatt hour rate. So our electric expense for 2 years would be $28,600. The current cost to purchase these miners at $3,650 times 6 is $21,900. So your total expenses are $50,500. So if you take your income minus your expenses, you're looking at a net income from mining of $82,700. Now that's assuming all these estimates are reasonable and accurate. That make mining extremely lucrative over those 2 years. Now, another thing you have to take into account is the residual value of those 6 Bitcoin miners when Bitcoin's at 100,000. One thing you'll have to keep in mind is when Bitcoin was at 70,000 last November of 2021, these miners were going for 12 to 15 grand a piece. So it would be reasonable to think that if Bitcoin was at $100,000 from 2 years from now, that there would be a strong demand from people to get these miners, especially if it is so lucrative to mine Bitcoin. So you could see these miners, garnering 10 plus grand each. So essentially you could generate this $82,000 in net income and then sell off your 6 Bitcoin miners for 10 grand a piece and pocket another 60 grand. And obviously all these different assumptions could change drastically, but I think these are somewhat reasonable assumptions to make to put together an analysis like this. And really what I'm trying to convey here is there is potential for huge upside when you're getting into these Bitcoin miners. So I want to share with you my experience dealing with Musk Miners ever since I signed the contract for mining with them back in June of 2022. My miners were supposed to go online at some point in September or October of this year, but there have been delays, and that's due to some mechanical issues with the generator that they have on site. This generator was to be used to convert the flared natural gas into power to power the Bitcoin miners. They had some mechanical issues. They sunk a bunch of money in to try to fix the mechanical issues with the generator, but ended up having to recently scrap the generator completely and find a new replacement generator. So there have been some delays in terms of getting the site online. Fortunately, Bitcoin mining has been unprofitable, so it really wouldn't have made sense to have my Bitcoin miners on over the past month or two anyways. But one thing I have appreciated is they have been in constant communication, providing weekly email updates about the status of their fixes and getting a generator replaced. So even though my miners have not been online, there's really not a big loss in my point, because there's really no point in mining Bitcoin at an unprofitable level, and I'm not currently generating any electric expense because the miners aren't running. So I'm really not in a huge hurry at this point to get going until Bitcoin mining becomes much more profitable again anyways. So should you buy a Bitcoin miner? Well, this isn't financial advice and I can't tell you what to do, but personally, I think Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining are here to stay, and I think we could potentially see much, much higher prices for Bitcoin in the coming years, which would make Bitcoin mining extremely lucrative. If you found this information helpful, remember to hit that like button and check out one of my other videos over here.